Oregon, they're giving out $30,000, but there's a major catch that we'll be explaining. Chris, what's the catch with Oregon? I mean, they're giving out $30,000 of first-time home buyers. I imagine a bunch of people out there in that state are extremely excited, but what's the catch?
Well, a bunch of people in Oregon are definitely excited about free money, but unfortunately, you're going to miss out on this one unless you qualify. How do you qualify? Well, you can't be a U.S. citizen. This money's going to go $30,000 towards first-time home buyers who aren't currently citizens of the United States, which brings us a lot of questions. Andrew, why don't you pull up that article so we can take a deeper look into it?
Sure.
The CEO of Hacienda is offering a grant for the first-time home buyers in the state of Oregon, $30,000. This is only for people, as it's advertised, who are not American citizens. For example, ITIN holders, a DACA recipient, refugees, asylees, green card holders, amongst others, must have pre-approval for a mortgage loan. To me, that's where the number one pitfall is, because first of all, you come to the United States, you don't automatically have credit, right?
No, right.
Like, how do you convince a bank to give you a loan? That detail actually makes me think this is kind of like a money laundering situation. Because
really, why?
Well, I don't know. Think about it. And look, this is all allegedly, but just on its face value, just having a down payment isn't enough to secure a house. You have to get a mortgage.
Right.
Where do you, like, you show up to the bank, like, hey, I have 30,000. Okay, great. How's your credit? Oh, you don't have, I mean, I don't know if they have driver's license. Maybe they do. I'm not really sure. I'm sure the DACA recipients probably do. And there's refugees that do and green card holders that do. But for banks to give you this loan, they're going to want to see some kind of long-term commitment, particularly with this political climate. It seems like it's a risky move for banks to give you a mortgage when we all know what's going on. There's a lot of divisive issues out there. $30,000 is not enough. Maybe in some places in Oregon, a decent head start, but you're going to need some other help. It does seem like it is a state tax funded thing based on what this article is saying, which I find that if it was just someone private offering that money because that's their background, it's one thing. But I think it's another thing when it's funded through taxpayer dollars. I think there's a different conversation that you can have there.
I don't understand how that's even allowed, to be honest, because they're allowing people that are illegal immigrants to have access to that 30,000. And like you said, I agree with you. If it was just like a individual or a group of people that have a ton of money that are more than willing to contribute and give out this money is one thing. But I believe this is being utilized money from taxpayers in Oregon. And that's really controversial. And that's what some people have been explaining, especially Oregon State Representative Ed Dial, I think his name is.
Right.
I guess it's this is funded through the state's tax-funded Economic Equity Investment Program, so EEIP. So Oregon citizens that are struggling right now to buy a home, I mean, me personally, I believe they're the ones that should be able to tap into that, not necessarily Hacienda. Although Hacienda can do what they want because they're their own organization. But at the same time, if you're using taxes, then I don't think that's right. I think it just causes more of an issue for everyone in that state. And it's just going to make things more expensive in terms of home prices. But at the same time, I don't think it's right from what I understand.
Well,
from what you bring up.
I would pose one question to the comments. We want to hear your thoughts on this. Me and Andrew, we don't know everything, but we do like to, think about things, and we're both fans of philosophy. I guess my question is, unless Oregon has zero homeless people, how can this make sense?
Right.
If there's one homeless person out there that is a U.S. citizen, wouldn't it make more sense for taxpayer dollars to go to that individual? That is, I feel like there needs to be a safety net in American society. We need an immigration policy in this country where we're bringing in great people, also people in need, but people that are willing to contribute. At the end of the day, if there's one homeless person in Oregon that doesn't have the same opportunity, It's, the question is it right? And I'm not going to answer that question. I want to leave it to the comments,
Yeah, you posed a good question earlier though too about if they're given this $30,000, how do they qualify for a loan? But maybe in the details it shows that they can essentially buy with another individual that has credit, has a background in banking and whatnot, and that's how they qualify. But it's not
Mhm.
necessarily fair. But I think it's good if we leave it to the comments to see if they agree with this or not. So yeah, that's an interesting story. I'm glad you found that.
Change our mind, you know.
Right. Well, what philosophy? Your philosophy is what, though? I mean, I know you didn't necessarily answer it, but what direction would you kind of?
When I first heard about it, I was really thinking, okay, this is a private individual, and he, when you read about his background, the CEO of this organization, um, i- if this is his money and he's fronting it's actually really kind of in a way, it can be seen as a heartwarming story. He didn't forget his roots. I think whenever you follow the money, ultimately, if the Oregon taxpayers are okay with it, then I guess that's what the citizens of Oregon deserve. But
Yeah.
you know, I guess I'll just leave it at that. I don't live in Oregon, so I'm not going to really shed too many tears over it.